ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Cody, and tonight I will be bringing you my round 2 NRL tips of 2024. Now, last week to start round 1, I did absolutely terrible. Last week, I only got 2 out of 8. That's right, 2 out of 8. My only games I got correct were Para beating the Dogs and the Cowboys thrashing the Dolphins. Every other game was full of every other games were full of upsets, floggings, and 6 of the 8 games had the outsiders winning, meaning not the favourites to win, which that's astonishing. That rarely happens. Hasn't happened that often in recent years, but wow. Last week, round 1 was crazy, which I'll get into every result going into this round. But my goodness, that's not a good way to start the year for tipping. I mean, 2 out of 8, that's only 25%. That's fucking terrible. Anyways, let's hope we can do better in round 2 with getting more than 2 wins this time. If I get 2 again, I'm gonna throw this fucking thing that's blowing right beside me. And sorry if there are any audio outcuts there. It's just because it's a bit warm at the moment for where I'm from. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into my round 2 NRL tips of 2024. And the first game we are kicking off on the Thursday night. These two are 2 Vegas teams that both lost to the Sea Eagles and the Roosters respectively. One high scoring and one all sorts of places. I am talking about the Broncos taking on the Rabbitohs, kicking off at 8 PM here in New South Wales, 7 PM up there in Queensland at Suncorp Stadium. Now, both teams are obviously coming off losses after losing to the Roosters and Manly respectively. Rabbits losing 36-24 and the Broncos losing 20 points to 10. With all 4 teams making history as the first time in rugby league games in the regular season have been taken over there across to the United States in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. The first time any sort of rugby league action from Australia. With last time that happened, that had New South Wales versus Queensland in a State of Origin exhibition match in 1987. The result went with New South Wales. Obviously, that does not count towards the official series, which it has done before, but I don't agree with it. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. But both teams here are looking to get a win after both being defeated, and currently both in 12th and 13th respectively. Now, going into this match as of this recording, the Broncos are the favourites in this one at $1.42, and as the Rabbitohs, they are the outsiders at $2.89. Not a bad price for the Rabbits. So if you're putting the Rabbits on the win, but you get your money's worth if they try and win this week. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, surprisingly, we have won 6 of the past 10 games against Brisbane. However, Broncos have won the last 3 out of 4 encounters. The last time we beat the Broncos was the last time we played at Suncorp against the Broncos, which we flogged them 32 points to 6 in our 6-game winning streak that we had in the first half of 2023 before it went downhill. But however, though, the Rabbitohs have won 3 of the past 5 games against the Broncos up at Suncorp Stadium. That was in 2019 where we won 22-20. 2021, where we beat them 46-0, and the most recent one last year, where we beat them 32 points to 6. So for this game, who do I see winning? Obviously, both teams might still have some jet lag. I mean, they had extra days to recover from it as well, as it was a split round. So coming up this week will be almost 2 weeks, about a week and a half or so, that both teams will have play. So I reckon we'll get this one. It will be a tight contest. It can go either way still, but I think we'll just get the win. I know Broncos had a shaky start and they like to bounce back, but anything is still possible. So I'll go the Rabbits to win 1-12. Rabbitohs win by 4. Scoreline, I'm not expecting a high one. I'm probably 16-12 scoreline. And for a anytime try scorer for either team, Broncos will go. I think we'll go Selwyn Cobbo to score. I know the team list is not out, but you would assume they're playing. And for us, we came unscathed pretty much, except for Jai Arrow, which I think he'll be all right. I'll go AJ to score anytime, so Rabbitohs to win by 4. Alright, now we move on to our first of 2 Friday night games. The first one kicking off at 6 p.m. down there at the Shire. We have the Cronulla Southern Sharks taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs down there at PointsBet Stadium, also known as Shark Park. Now, last week, Bulldogs were shocking. I mean, they were pretty much the same as last year. They didn't really click it into the game until they really when they scored their first try. But before then, they were just horrible, and they let their arch rivals, the Eels, to win 26 points to 8. And as for the Sharks, they shockingly beat the Warriors 16 points to 12 over there in New Zealand last week. After the Warriors led 12-0, and the Sharks came back to win 16 points to 12. I mean, that was honestly not what I was expecting. So that's it. They beat a top 4 team. I know, yes, we go off at them saying they can't beat a top 8 team. Well, they just beat a top 4 team from last year. So I'm just going to shut up, see how they will go for this week against the Dogs. Because, I mean, it's still early days. You never know what's going to happen for both of these games. But anyways, Sharks are currently coming 8th and the Bulldogs are coming 15th. For this game, we have the Sharks as the favourites at $1.32 and the Bulldogs at a juicy $3.41. So if you want to risk it and put an upset score on the Sharks, well, tip the Dogs and you get your money's worth. But in the past 10 games between these two, Sharks have dominated the Bulldogs, winning 8 of the past 10 and winning the last 5 games in a row. The last time we had the Dogs winning against the Sharks was back in 2021, where they beat them 18 points to 12, but that was at Cogra, as Shark Park was getting rebuilt at that time. And the last time the Bulldogs beat the Sharks at Shark Park was in 2011, where they won 19 points to 12. So they haven't had a good record in recent times over there down at the Shire of the Dogs. Now for this one, obviously it speaks for itself. I will go to Sharks to win this one. I reckon Sharks will win 13 plus. Sharks to win by 14. The scoreline of, I think the Dogs will be a bit similar. I reckon 22 points at 8 scoreline. For try scorers, 1 of each. I will go for, well, let's go bold here. I reckon Brayley will score for the Sharks, and as for the Bulldogs, Addo Carr is out with a shoulder injury. It's not significant, so he'll only be out for like 2 to 4 weeks or so, or something like that. For a try scorer, we'll go Manny Burton to score at any time try score as well. So Sharks to win by 14. Now we move on to the main event on the Friday night, one of the biggest games to already start the year. Quite the opposite if you think about it, despite this with last week's results. We have the Great Western Derby between the three-peat premiers, the Penrith Panthers, and the Parramatta Eels. Now, Eels put on a score against the Bulldogs last week, against their arch rivals there at Combank last week, winning 26 points to 8. It was a well-deserved win for the Eels. I mean, they were very good. Well-deserved for that. And as for Penrith, shockingly, they lost. They lost to Melbourne. And they are held scoreless as well. 8 points to 0. I mean, it was a gutsy game. And now Penrith have lost another game in a row. This is the same thing as last year. I mean, they lost in the World Club Challenge the weekend, 16 points to 12. If you remember last year, they lost to St Helens at Penrith, and then they lost to the Broncos in round 1 last year. There's a pattern here now. It's the second year in a row they've done this. And yet they'll be held scoreless as well. There's, I believe the last time Penrith got held scoreless was against Melbourne in 2022, where they won 16-0. And to hold the three-peat premiers scoreless is it is defense hard. It's great defense, but I'll get to that when we get to Melbourne's game against the Warriors. Oh, wow, not a good display there from the Panthers last week at Amy Park. But we all move on. I mean, they're bound to get better throughout the season. I mean, they are expected to finish first, and I'm one of them as well. So we currently have the Eels coming third, my apologies. And as for Penrith, they are currently coming 11th. And for the odds for this game as well, Panthers are at $1.38 favourites, and outsiders, the Eels, are at a nice $3.06. So not bad if you want to put a bet on with the Eels this week. Now, for some reason as well, Para seem to beat the Panthers in the regular season, but when it comes to finals, they don't. As in the past 10 games between these two, Penrith have won 6 of the last 10. However, Para have won the last 4 regular season games against the Panthers, both in 2022 and 2023. But with those 3 finals games, which included the grand final from 2022, Penrith have won those games. So, I don't know what the go is here with Para. They seem to beat Penrith in the regular season, and one of the few teams to beat Penrith in the regular season. I think the only one back-to-back as well in the last 2 years. But for this game, who do I see winning? Although Penrith, I know they don't want to lose 3 in a row, especially that now that they're at their fortress at Penrith. They've won like the last 20-plus games out of 30 or whatever, which is quite an achievement to do. But I'm going to go for the shocking upset here. I'm going to go for the Eels to win this one, 1-12. Eels to win by 2. Scoreline, let's go 24-22. And I reckon a 2-point field goal from Dylan Brown. And for an anytime try scorer for both teams, for Penrith, we'll go Brian Toto. And for the Eels, I reckon Morgan Harper, if he plays again, I reckon he'll get a try. Because he was very good in his first game for the Eels last week. So this one will probably stir up a lot of people, but I'm backing Para to win this one. So Para to win by 2. Now we move on to Super Saturday, the first of 3 games. First one kicking off at 3 p.m. Our first 3 p.m. Saturday game of the year. We are heading to the nation's capital. We have the Green Machine, the Canberra Raiders, taking on the freshly West Tigers, who had the first bye of 2024. They had not played since the trial, so they will be well rested for this one, and they will be taking on the Raiders in Canberra. Now, Tigers are currently in 9th. Raiders are currently in 4th. And with the Raiders last week, they pulled a really good upset against the Knights. I was not expecting it. I mean, majority of us were not expecting it. And just wow, Raiders destroyed the Knights. Oh, Knights had it in the first 20 minutes or so, and then out of nowhere, Raiders were just amazing. They abolished the Knights in front of their home crowd, winning 28 points to 12. And the Raiders finally have won a 13-plus game for the first time since the end of 2022. As for last year, they didn't win a single game by 13 points or more. They were all 12 points or less. So, I mean, it's a well-deserved win for the Raiders. wasn't expecting it, but wow. And majority of us hadn't had them at the bottom of the table, including yours truly. I mean, they just put a statement like that and like, no, we are not finishing in the bottom four this year. It's still early though, still early stages, but you don't write off the Raiders yet. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, Raiders have destroyed the Tigers, winning 9 of the past 10, which includes winning 7 straight, sorry. And the last time the Tigers won was back in 2018 against the Raiders, where they beat them 22-20, and that's when the last time the Tigers won in Canberra as well. But another thing is as well, Raiders have won 14 of the past 17 games against the Tigers since 2014 on the 30th of August. That's just outstanding for the Raiders. So Tigers going to have quite a tough one here in this one. I know they're under Benji Marshall for his first full season at the Tigers, but we don't know how they're going to go yet. They haven't played in 2024 yet. So for this game, obviously I will back the Raiders to win this one. I think for how they were last week, I think I can pretty much say that I think they can win this one. I reckon this will be a high scoring game. I reckon they'll win this one by a high 1-12 by 10 points. I reckon the scoreline will be 30 points to 20 for a try scorer from both teams. I reckon Jermaine Buller, the Tigers fullback, will score. And as for the Raiders, I reckon I'm going to go bold here. I reckon Jamal Fogarty will play against the Tigers. Will score a try for the Raiders. So a bit bold here, but this will be an interesting game. And also the odds for this game: Raiders at $1.46, the Tigers at $2.73. Raiders to win 1-12. Now we move up to 5:30 p.m. We are going all the way to north, and we're going to Townsville at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. up there in Queensland. We have the first place North Queensland Cowboys taking on the disappointing 14th place Newcastle Knights. Now, last week the Knights shockingly were beaten by the Raiders. I mean, it would have mattered if they were lost by fewer points, but they lost 28 points to 12, and everyone expected the Knights to win that one good, but it wasn't to be. I mean, they had, at one stage, they had the lead, and then Raiders just pulled in the gear. We all made fun of the Raiders. No need to anymore, but I reckon the Knights were one of the most disappointing teams for round one last week, and no doubt they will not be good for this game this week, as they will taking on the first place North Queensland Cowboys. Cowboys surprisingly flogging the Storm 40. The Dolphins, sorry, fuck's sake, the Dolphins, sorry, not the Storm. Flogging the Dolphins 43 points to 18, almost getting to the 50 mark, and we would have said no, Dolphins are not getting the premiership this year. I mean, obviously I don't think they'll make the top 8 anyway, but you never know. But yes, Cowboys, well, most of the teams for round one were still getting used to the feel, and that Cowboys, they just went straight through, scoring a try in the first 3 minutes. Within the first 3 minutes, they put an outstanding game, and a good friend of mine named Nick from Australia went to the game at Suncorp. He had a blast of a time. By the time of this recording, he has uploaded a vlog. If you have not seen it, make sure you go see it. It is a quality vlog. Congrats to you Cowboys, Nick. I hope you had a great time and you lost your voice. I mean, damn. Hope you save it for the podcast. But anyway, let's move on. Now for odds for the game, we have the Cowboys at $1.42, The Knights are $2.90. I reckon, based on that performance, they should be at fucking $4.20 or something, to be honest. Anyways, the past 10 games between these two, Cowboys have won 7 of the past 10, which includes winning 3 of the past 4. Knights have not had a good record in Townsville. The last time they won in Townsville was in 2015, where they beat the Cowboys 16 points to 14. So the Knights have not won. Yeah, the Knights have not won any of their 4 clashes. No, yeah, 4. They haven't won. And they haven't won any of their 4 clashes against the Cowboys up in at the new Queensland Country Bank Stadium yet. Could they break it this week? I don't believe so. So as for that, I'm going the Cowboys 13 plus for this one. After the Cowboys put a score against the Dolphins like that, I'm confident the Cowboys will do it again. I'll go Cowboys to win by 18. Scoreline, let's go 30 points to 12. Try scorer for both teams, Knights, we'll go Greg Marcial. And as for the Cowboys, we'll go Scotty Drinkwater, getting a double. I reckon that's a bold move there, but I reckon he'll get a double against the Knights. Cowboys 13 plus. Alright, now we move on to the final game of Super Saturday, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. Down there at Amy Park, we have the 7th place Melbourne Storm taking on the 10th place New Zealand Warriors. Now, Warriors completely blew it last week as they lost to the Sharks after leading 12-0 at one point, and then Sharks came back to win 16 points to 12. I mean, Warriors were good in that game, but after they let the Sharks get the first try, they were like, nah, they were pretty much done for that game. But kudos to the Sharks for coming back. I mean, 12 points is nothing, but to see that happen, especially in the first round and going over New Zealand, is quite remarkable achievement. And as for Melbourne, they held the three-peat premiers, the Panthers, scoreless last week at Amy Park, winning 8 points to 0. It wasn't a good game, but it was a great defensive round for the Storm. I mean, the whole team held 0 is impressive, but this is the second time within 3 years they held Penrith scoreless. The other time was 16-0 in 2022 at Penrith. And the Daughters went on round 1 against the premiers from last year, not to mention the three-peat premiers. Is quite truly, I believe this is the first time since 1908 since rugby league has come to Australia. I believe Panthers are the first team to be held scoreless in a round 1 game after winning the premiership the year before. I think that's correct. If I'm not, let me know down below, but I think I could be right, I could be wrong. I have no clue. But anyways, we have the Storm versus the Warriors for this one. Now, obviously, Storm are the favourites for this one at $1.38. As for the Warriors, they are at a nice $3.09. Now, usually these two clash on Anzac Day with Melbourne being the home team. I mean, should rotate, but obviously Warriors are playing the Titans on Anzac Day instead, because Melbourne are very wussy of going over there to play against New Zealand on Anzac Day. But at least the Warriors got their wish to play their home game on Anzac Day. So Melbourne instead will be playing my boys on Anzac Day, in which that will be a game I will be going to in round 8. So in about 6 or 7 weeks, I will be travelling to Amy Park for the first time ever, and hope our streak finally ends. But we'll get to that when we get to round 8. So in the head-to-head between these two, Melbourne have destroyed the Warriors. They have won the last 14 straight games against the Warriors. The last time the Warriors won was in 2015, where they beat the Storm 28 points to 14. And the last time the Warriors beat the Storm in Melbourne was in 2014, where they won 16 points to 10. I should mention as well, this is the first time that these two are not playing on Anzac Day with Melbourne as the home team, excluding 2020, because obviously that one was cancelled and they played. They didn't play on Anzac Day, but excluding 2020, the last time the Warriors and the Storm played at Amy Park, not on Anzac Day, was in 2015, where they were close to playing on Anzac Day, but they played on April 6th instead. But anyways, for this game, obviously, as much as I don't want Melbourne to win, I think Melbourne will be too good for this one. I reckon there'll be more of putting it on a score against the Warriors. I mean, Warriors could shock us, or that can still happen, but I don't see it happening. I know I want to see the Warriors finally break their long drought against the Storm, just like Broncos finally broke their, I think it's 14-game losing streak as well last year in the finals. But Warriors, I reckon, Melbourne, I reckon they'll win this one by 10 points. Scoreline will go 24-14 for a try scorer. We'll go Ryan Papenhuyzen to score for Melbourne. And as for the Warriors, I reckon Roger Tuivasa-Sheck will score against the Storm this week. So Melbourne to win 1-12. Now we move on to Sunday ticket. We have 2 games on the Sunday. The first game kicking off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. These 2 teams also returned from Vegas, played in Vegas, and they both won. We are going to 4 Pines Park in Brookie in Sydney. We have the 5th place Manly Warringah Sea Eagles taking on the 6th place Sydney Roosters. Now, obviously, just like the Rabbitohs and the Broncos, both of these 2 teams have made history as the first 4 teams to take 2 rugby league games outside of Australia in the regular season, with both Manly winning 36-24 against my boys in the first game, and the Roosters winning 20-10 against the Broncos. Good that, Roosters did win, but wasn't very convincing. Wasn't a really good game. As for Manly's game against the Rabbits, it was high scoring, no doubt. Great game. I know, yeah, we lost, but we just gave up, and Manly just returned from, I think it was 8 points down. We led 20-12 in the second half, and they just like the Raiders pretty much. They just snapped like that, and they scored multiple tries. I mean, Luke Brooks looked amazing, and he even scored a try in his Manly debut, which I was not expecting to see that. So good on Luke Brooks for scoring against us. I guess that'll be one happy thing I'll take out of that game. But anyways, we are here to talk about Manly Roosters, not our game. So both of these teams will, unfortunately, one of them will be with a loss after this, and one team will be left undefeated. But who will be left undefeated? Let's get into the odds and the head-to-head. So in the head-to-head, the Roosters are currently the favourites as of this recording. It's $1.82 to Roosters. Compared to Manly at $2.02 in value. So it's very close. So either of these two can easily win this one. I reckon this will be one of the few games that can go either way this week, this round. In the past 10 games between these two, the Roosters have won 7 of the past 10. However, and which includes winning 4 of the past 5 fixtures. And this will be the first time these two will clash at 4 Pines Park since last year, where Manly won by 2 points against the Roosters, 18-16. And the Roosters don't have a good record at 4 Pines Park, I believe. They've got like a 30% win record there, something like that, I'm not sure. But back to 1947, that's a long time. But anyways, for this game, this one's going to be really, really tough. I mean, I reckon between this game and the Eels Panthers and the Rabbits Broncos, these 3 games are going to be the hardest ones to tip. So it's going to be hard, but I'm going to go Manly for this one. I'll go Manly by 4. I reckon this game will be a quality game. I think this will be the game of the round, to be honest. or the Penrith Eels game. One of them two. All right, we'll go Manly to win by 4. Let's go 26-22 scoreline. And for try scorers, I reckon Tom Trbojevic will score. He looked outstanding in the game against the Rabbits in Vegas. And as for the Roosters, well, I reckon James Tedesco will get a try as well. I believe he scored a try. No, not James Tedesco. We'll go Joseph Manu to score a try in this one as well. So Manly to win this one in a tight contest. And now we finally move on to the final game of round 2. We are heading up to Queensland once again. The Dragons are going back to Queensland back-to-back rounds. The Dragons are taking on the Dolphins at the Dolphins spiritual ground of KO Stadium, also known as Dolphins Stadium. Now, Dolphins were very, very lackluster and disappointing last week. Getting flogged 43 points to 18, unusual scoreline, and they didn't look good. I mean, compared to last year when they beat the Roosters in their first ever game, this is the complete opposite to last year, compared to round 1 last year and round 1 last week. Wow. And as for Dragons, they put on a great and shocking upset last week. Oh, they smashed the top. Well, I wouldn't say much of an upset, but wow, they put on the biggest score, or close to, beating the Titans 28 points to 4, I believe the scoreline. Everyone was considering getting the wooden spoon and finishing around the bottom. What? It's a complete 180 now. Yes, they only beat the Titans, no doubt, but don't write off the Dragons yet. I don't think this will be able to test them, but geez, they put on an outstanding and a wonderful and well-deserved win last week against the Titans. So for the odds for this game though, as of Monday night at around 8 o'clock, or 20 past 8 at the moment, the Dolphins are favourites at $1.85, close by to the Dragons at $1.98. So I think this will change going into Sunday. So if anyone comments saying that I was wrong about the odds, just letting you know, this was recorded on Monday night, just even before the team list came out on Tuesday. So just letting you guys know that as well. Yeah, I think this one will be a one-dimensional game, this one. Now, usually when a team gets flogged, they usually recover and win the following week, most of the time, but I don't see that happening with the Dolphins this time. And I should mention as well, 2nd versus 17th. So this could be a major upset if the Dolphins can pull it off, but I don't think they will. And this is only the 3rd clash between these two as well. The Dolphins won the first clash. So Dragons won the first clash against the Dolphins in the early rounds last year, winning 38 points to 12 in Wollongong. And then the Dolphins returned the favour by beating the Dragons 26 points to 12. And this will be the 2nd time these two have clashed at KO Stadium. So for this one, obviously, I will back the Dragons, but I'll only go 1-12 though. I'll go Dragons to win by 8. I think this will be a fairly good game. You may say because based on 2nd versus 17th may not be a good one, but I reckon it will be. It's still in the early round still. So Dragons to win by 8. Scoreline will go 28 points to 20. And the team that's getting the bye for round 2, obviously it is the Gold Coast Titans. They currently sit in 2nd last in 16th. So they won't move up very high unless we get a lot of teams still defeated with no wins this week. But we will wait and see to see how that will go. And as for the ladder, well, we could be left with 6 teams left undefeated. If you want to count the Tigers as well, that is 7, because they don't have a win or a loss yet. However, they are got a bye. The only game this week that will see a team lose in the top 8 if it goes ahead is Manly vs Roosters. Only one of them will remain undefeated. And as for the other games, so you could see Sharks, Eels, Raiders or Tigers, Cowboys, Melbourne, Manly or Roosters, and Dragons still left undefeated for this round. By the end of round 2, if it all goes to plan. And as for the defeated teams, we could be left with between 6 and 8. Or 6 or 7. Between 6 and 8, because we can still get 7 or we can get 8. As Tigers, even though Tigers haven't got a win yet, they could still lose. And they will still technically be defeated, even though they've got the 2 points for the bye. So for the other teams, we've got the Rabbits or Broncos that could be left defeated. The Dogs, Panthers, the Tigers if they lose, Knights, Warriors, and the Dolphins, and along with the Titans as well, even though they got the bye. So we could see a whole heap of teams still left undefeated, or still with no wins by the end of round 2, but you never know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude my round 2 NRL tipping video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, share this video around on social medias, and follow all that good shit. Turn on those bell notifications as well so you don't miss out whenever I post a video. Now, starting tomorrow, I will be starting a new series every Tuesday, and that will be giving me a quick review over each round, along with giving you my team of the week for each round. I think it will change for some days, if I'm for example Magic Round, probably won't be able to do it that day, or whenever I go to games as well, may not be able to do it on Tuesday, might have to forward it another day, but whatever. But I'll be starting that new series as of tomorrow, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. But I will show you who I think. I will do a 1 to 13, and I will include a bench, but extra players, but it's going to be a lot tougher. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet, make sure you join my subscribers tipping comp as well. You go to my community page and you'll be able to find the link there, and the code is there as well if you want to join. But congrats to everyone who has joined as well. Thank you all very much for that. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow with my team of the week video and review of round 1. Anyways, see you all in the next one, and go the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs.